can't even stand the left versus right paradigm lie, because Candace Owens and Brandon Tatum and Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire and Steven Crowder all think the Thin Blue Line gang are just A-okay. That's what's preserving freedom in America. So she says that Steven Crowder from the Loud Earth Crowder show is and has been for a long time a wolf in sheep's clothing, that he's an actor who's still lying and treats people like crap and has for a long time. Just ask the employees at the Blaze. Just ask the employees at CRT or the other places that he's been employed with. Just ask how bad of a character this person is. So my question to Candace Owens is, if you knew he was so bad, why weren't you warning people about him before this whole Daily Wire Steven Crowder thing came out? And if Steven Crowder and Daily Wire solidified the contract and actually Steven Crowder became a contract employee, it would be an independent contractor for the Daily Wire. After they solidified the deal and the ink was dried, would you have remained silent? Probably. What evil do you know about Jordan Peterson, who works for the Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro, who works for the Daily Wire, Matt Walsh, who works for the Daily Wire? All of those are involved in promoting the left versus right paradigm lie. All of those are involved in promoting the Thin Blue Line gang. Listen to what she says right here. Her words actually condemn her.
Well, LOL to anyone who
just as much as they condemn Crowder.
Thinks that Steven Crowder is not doing this to make money. Like, I mean, I just have to outwardly laugh. He's the person in a disguise. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing, right? He's like, I'm here because I care about all of you. That's why I'm recording my friend and doing this crappy thing where I literally could have just said.
And I got to tell you, on the other side of it, what Steven Crowder did to this Jeremy Boring, who owns the Daily Wire, was a cruddy. If they are truly friends, then you don't air that in public. Otherwise, it's known as something called, what is it? Oh, yeah, right, betrayal. So if Steven Crowder is willing to betray his friend, not because he's a part of big tech and big con, but because he's unhappy with the terms of the contract, which he could have renegotiated or walked away from, that tells you everything, in my opinion. That tells you everything you need to know about Steven Crowder and really all the people who are contracting with the Daily Wire at the very least. If you open up the can of worms and the welcome mat for tyranny and domestic terrorism at the Blaze or CRT or Loud Earth Crowder or Candace Owens or the Daily Wire, and you don't even have to open the can of worms because you see it. But if you really pulled back the veil and lifted the covers of what's really under there, there ain't no telling what you would find, because on the surface it's bad enough. So now we got all this infighting, and this, it wasn't even a contract. It was more like a pre-contract. It was like a term sheet. Like here are some proposed terms. Let's negotiate. But no, Steven Crowder had to, play the video, play the audio recording. It's just a bunch of drama. But the reason I play this drama stuff right here, and the reason it is so important, is because these people influence a lot of folks. They are in the minds of a lot of people. They are conveying the message of, hey, politics is great. Get involved in voting. Vote for DJT, which means voting for the chains of your own oppression, which means vote for somebody to rob and rule you. These guys are the ones that promote the Thin Blue Line cult, and we wonder why we're constantly having to fight on these videos and push back for our First Amendment rights, for our Second Amendment rights, for our Fourth Amendment rights. It's because they're constantly pushing back against us. They are the tyrants. They're the ones who are planting the seeds that germinate, that grow into these huge trees, shade trees of tyranny. And the darkness is on our land because of them. So when people go, well, I don't really care about this doesn't affect me. Yes, it does. How does it affect me? Because it affects everybody in your community who gives ear to this kind of stuff. And that's why setting brush fires of freedom in the minds of men is so important. And that's why dealing with this stuff is so important. We got to we can't put our heads in the sand.
No, I don't like those terms, and then said to everybody, I'm starting my own outfit. Fair. You walk away all the time. You have I have walked away. I had an offer from the Blaze. It didn't work for me. You know what I mean? I didn't need to piece apart the contract. I love those guys. I think Tyler is amazing. This is what I'm saying. People need to stop thinking that he is some knight in shining armor. He's not. He's not a knight in shining armor. And if you can't see that, watch this video, because I think his acting is never more apparent. Even the titles, I didn't want to do this. Oh, really? Then why the hell?
She is shredding Steven Crowder. And I really doubt, thanks for becoming a member, Afro Man. I really doubt that she would continue to shred him if he signed the contract with the Daily Wire, which she also has a contract with. So what does this tell you? It tells you that money is more important to these people than integrity. If you don't have a person speaking to your camera screen that has integrity, not that they're not going to make mistakes, not that they're not going to get it wrong, but they have integrity, they're not there for the money. They're not there for the views. They're there to get out their message no matter what happens. Wherever the truth chips fall, that's where they're going to land. And that's acceptable to people that aren't on the hook for money. We're talking about, guys, Steven Crowder's contract was $50 million over the course of 4 years, $12.5 million a year, which is like $1 million a month, $250,000 a week. And Steven Crowder was wanting to negotiate that up to $120 or $140 million. These guys are not interested. They're only interested in putting on content so they can get clicks and they can get views and generate ad revenue and buy get a whole bunch of money. You know what you could do with $50 million, $200 million, $100 million, $120, $140 million? You could literally change the world. You could create your own self-contained, almost like a monetary system, like a market within a market where free markets actually roam. And if you got enough people on board, then you could insulate yourself from the trouble that's going to come, because the government doesn't want you to have a market away from theirs. That's why they can't stand the black market, because they can't regulate it. They can't make money on it. They can't exercise power over it. And that's why they call it the black. You don't want to get involved in the black market, do you? Well, the real black market is the one that's controlled by the Federal Reserve and the IRS and the IMF and the United States government that's been co-opted. That's the real black market. The real free market is what the government calls the black market. $50 million, and he was wanting to negotiate that up. And then Jeremy Boring from Daily Wire put out the video kind of making Steven Crowder look real bad. And she's saying he's a wolf in sheep's clothing. Look at the acting. Are people really believing this crap? The reason Steven Crowder's doing this is for the money. Well, what are you doing it for, Candace? What are you doing it for, Ben Shapiro or Jordan B. Peterson? Who do you guys support and endorse? Oh, that's right. Isra H-E double hockey sticks. The Z crowd, the Zio crowd. They'll always lay cover for them. The left versus right paradigm Zio lie.
How did you record them? What were you doing that for? Did you think you were going to go to court?
Fair point.
Or did you think you were going to go to court? Because that's the only reason you record someone. You'd be like, I don't trust my ex-wife. Pardon my language, okay? I don't trust my ex-wife, so I'm going to record this phone call for safety, right? You record it because you're nervous that there's going to be a court hearing or the police are going to find out, and you've got to back up what you said, okay? Why are you recording your friend? If not because you think it's going to go to court. Oh, because you think it's going to go to public and you're doing it intentionally because you know you're about to start a war. People, please use your common sense.
Yeah, people, please use your common sense. Use your common sense on Candace Owens. She's being a freaking hypocrite right here. Yeah, what Steven Crowder did was bad. Very bad. And the issue, what the issue should be is, now look at the terms of my contract. Look what they're trying to make me do. They're trying to make me silence my voice for the sake of, being on social media platforms. The overall picture is Steven Crowder literally called these people, quote, in bed with the establishment, doing that which is bad for America and bad for their viewers. Shouldn't that be the issue? And now the issue is, okay, if that's the case, if they're truly in bed with the establishment, what makes them in bed with the establishment? Identify who they are and exactly what they got wrong and how they're leading America back in the wrong direction.
I work for Daily Wire is because he personally he's lying, and he insulted me, and during his lying campaign, he's still lying. He even said something in this video where he's like, now they're sending out their... No. If you're going to aim and you're going to hit somebody with shrapnel and it's going to be me, you better aim correctly, because I don't like this, okay? I have been quiet. I know Steven Crowder treats people like absolute trash. It's a known thing in the conservative movement. Ask anybody.
It's a known thing in the conservative movement, and yet the owners of the Daily Wire... If she's right, and she is, it's a known thing in the conservative movement that Steven Crowder treats people like crap and is a known liar. If that's true, then why would the Daily Wire want to sit down and have a contract with him so that he can become an independent contractor creating content for them? Why would you want that? Oh, that's right. It's because they don't care about integrity. They don't care about doing the right thing. They don't care about the character of the individual. All they care about is tapping into a talent. We heard that word a lot. so they can generate more views and clicks and ad revenue so they can make a whole bunch of money. They don't care about doing the right thing. They just care about the views, the clicks, the people, the money. Listen to her. She says it's a known thing. Everybody in the conservative movement knows about Steven Crowder.
Treats people like absolute trash. It's a known thing in the conservative movement.
Known.
Ask anybody that works at the Blaze. Any person who's ever had a show on the Blaze, how Steven Crowder treats people. By the way, you want to talk about contract negotiations? Why doesn't somebody reach out to Not Gay Jared, right, who used to be with Steven Crowder, and figure out why he can't speak? Why doesn't Steven Crowder release Not Gay Jared from his NDA? I don't like shit like this. It's all.
There's a guy that used to be on the Crowder show. He was the lead guy. He was his right-hand man they called him Not Gay Jared. And apparently he quit. A lot of people don't know why he quit. They're speculating, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, Steven Crowder had Not Gay Jared sign a non-disclosure agreement, which is pretty shady to me. So let me just leave you with this. If it's true that everybody in the conservative movement, or at least most people, knew what kind of character they were dealing with when they had Steven Crowder, why is the Daily Wire interested in, why were they interested in entering into a contract with him? It could be none other than we're tapping into the talent so we can make a whole bunch of money. We don't give a damn. We'll let the integrity slide. We'll hire somebody we know is a bad character, a bad actor, because we want to make a whole bunch of money.